Hello everyone, I'm back at St Paul's Church in Ryhope. I had to come back after something I noticed when I was here a couple of days ago, so I'll just give you a look of St Paul's Church. As I said on the other video, it was the first time I'd ever been to this particular church, and I was amazed at the lack of the headstones. You know, you'd always expect to find some in the quiet corner. There is the odd one scattered around. There's a couple over there, there's one by the church, some at the back, a couple in the bushes, but probably less than 20 monuments in this huge graveyard. I did a little bit of digging and I hadn't realised, even though this church was only built in the 1870s, this area had been used as a burial ground for about since the late 1820s, when there was a little church just next to the green now called St Paul's. It looks like quite a small chapel. That was built as a relief to help out over at Bishop Wearmouth, because if at those times people, if they want to get married, baptised or were buried, would have to go to probably see him or across to Bishop Wearmouth or Sunderland to get those services done. So I had a look, and between 1879 and 1937 there was 2,900 and I think it's 2 or 7 burials, and then in the previous 50 years there was about, I think it was 1,700 or something like that. I worked out it was just over 4,700 burials in this particular graveyard, so there's a little trace of them. But the one which struck me the most was this one just on its own, nothing else surrounding it. I am going to write something up on Facebook later called the post will be called The Lonely Grave. So I did a little bit of digging about this particular headstone. Go and have a look at it. As you can see, it's right by the edge of the wall, away from the church. You can hear the cars going past on the main road. And this is an affectionate remembrance of Mary Jane, the beloved daughter of William and Mary Kearsley, who died March the 22nd, 1878. She was aged 1 year and 10 months, and the epitaph is, "Of such is the kingdom of heaven," which is a good traditional Victorian epitaph for that one. So first of all, I'll give you a little bit of information about Mary Jane. She didn't actually die in Ryhope. She died at a place called 4 Albion Terrace, which is down on the edge of sort of Hendon, Grangetown, probably about maybe a mile and a half away. It's the terrace was opposite the commercial roads, where the commercial road school was, at the bottom of Spelter Works Road. Now, there was a huge cemetery a few hundred metres from where she lived, Sunderland Cemetery, also known as Grangetown Cemetery. So I'm not too sure why she wouldn't have been buried there when she was a resident of the borough of Sunderland. Possibly, I think her parents might have been married in Ryhope in 1874, even though those two weren't actually from Ryhope either. I'll give a little bit of history, because she's got an interesting ancestor as Mary. Now, William was born in South Hilton around 1850, and Mary, her maiden name was Mary Hunt, and she was born in Whitby. William, he was a shipwright, which was like a ship's carpenter, born South Hilton. He was the son of a gentleman called Peter Hind Kearsley. Now, Peter was from Great Ayton in North Yorkshire, but he had an interesting family. So his father, who would have been this infant's great-grandfather, was Captain John Kearsley, who was one of the main whaling shippers in Whitby, who used to do the Greenland routes. So he used to go off with his ship. It was called Henrietta. If you Google it, you'll probably find a little bit more information about the whaling side of things and that ship. And he used to go across to Greenland, getting whales for oil and so on. So I'm just going to come out because a bit of the water's dripping off onto the around, because it's just been raining before. So Captain John Kearsley, her great-grandfather, he was married 3 times, and he had it was either 18 or 19 children with those 3 wives. So Mary's granddad, who lived at South Hilton, was one of 18 and 19 brothers and sisters. Now, the captain's second wife had a brilliant name called Abby Blackbeard, which is a great maritime sort of piratey name, and so on. And Peter's mother, so that is Mary's grandmother, was 33 years younger than her husband, the captain. Now, an amazing thing about that, I would think, is the fact that with him being a mariner, how long he would have spent at sea. He managed to get in 18 and 19 children over like 30-40 years, which is, considering the risks that he would have faced going up to Greenland. I did read a report where on one journey they got intercepted by the Royal Navy, who took some of his crew and press ganged them to go into some of the Navy vessels and so on. But William, being a shipwright, by 1881 they'd moved back over towards like Hendon Way. I think it was East Street they were living in 1881. I think 1891 they were living in Grangetown, and then 1901 I think they were living over Southwick, and that's where they pretty much stayed for the rest of their lives. Mary died at Southwick in 1921-22. William died in the same street in about 1932. But Kearsley, the name, there's quite a lot of them around North Yorkshire, like Stokesley, Ayton, Whitby, that area, not too far from the North Yorkshire coast. So I wonder if the captain ever met Captain Cook, who would have been based around it. I think he was born in, he had an apprenticeship at Great Ayton, which is just outside Middlesbrough. But another interesting thing about Mary Jane is William and Mary had 7 children. They were all girls, and young Mary Jane, she was the firstborn. So she's buried here. The family moved off from where she died and scattered around various parts of Sunderland and Ryhope. So if anybody watching this or reading the story later is a Kearsley, there's probably a good chance that you're from this particular family. Well, not William himself, because obviously he had 7 daughters, but he had a few brothers and sisters as well. I think there was 11 of them born over at South Hilton. Now, as to why this headstone was left, because somebody commented on, when I did the first post about the visit to this graveyard, that they were taken down in like the 60s, 70s. So there would have been no like surviving relative to, say, please keep this one. Possibly it was just missed, because this might have been overgrown at the time when they took all the other headstones down. But it's just, I think it's quite sad with all that history. As I said, there's over 4,700 people buried here, and if you added up all the names on the headstones, you'd probably only find about 30 odd. Some of them do mention a couple of people and so on. Just leave you one last look. So Mary Jane, she was the firstborn child of William and Mary. I suppose a good thing is it's still, you can still read it. It's still standing. Now, one other thing, I'm trying to work out which direction. Are we facing east? I think east is. Yeah, I think we're facing east. I think the sea's, yeah, facing the normal Christian burial alignment. So as I said, later on today I'll put something on Facebook. It'll be in Sunderland History and Sunderland History and Memories. It'll be called The Lonely Grave, where I'll actually write up a few bits and pieces about this particular headstone, and a couple of, put some pictures in as well. So thank you for watching this video, and if you do like it, give it a like, and if you wish to, please click on subscribe. Then you'll get updates on any future videos that I do, which I'm sure there'll be a few more. So thanks again, thanks for watching.